the swirls to show, but I am conscious of the value I see in this corner being darker, and further away I'm going to let it fade off. One of the problems I'm trying to avoid here is getting what's known as a halo. If I stop putting pressure on this paper or bringing this color right up to the edge, then I'm going to have an area, maybe too light or too dark in some cases, that is that transition zone from where I was afraid to get too close to the animal with too much color, and I end up making it look like it's glowing or it's a holy squirrel. So go right into the background. I haven't recorded or kept that shape that I was using, but I can still see it. At the very end of this, I'm going to take the paper and blow off any of the excess. Spend some time drawing the actual contour of this animal. This is all I would need to retain the outline of that particular animal. Take another clean sheet of paper, place the two on top of each other, and with the scalpel, cut through. You'll see that I can score both things, and I'm actually going to lose my drawing, but that's okay. You can cut right through. I left my cutting mat at home. Take some more graphite and continue the process. And if I tear that piece of paper away along those score lines, I'll take that shape and hold it over top of my drawing, so that if I want to protect a certain area, like the tape's purpose is, I can now rub right off of this initial cutout and protect the surface from getting a lot of color underneath. And again, avoiding that halo effect, because now I'm bringing the color or this value right up to the edge. And when I remove the paper, I now have, when I clean it off, a hard edge that's protected. This fur here has to have something happening in it. The white area here even has some color in it. There's not much to stop me from doing little lines all along the edge or area behind the head. And I'm treating the background area as a starting point, because if I'm working on this particular area, I'm learning. If I've never drawn before, it makes sense to me to learn where it's the least important. And then as I get better, I'll apply everything I've learned in those out-of-the-way areas to where it really matters, which is the head. So I want to just start doing some fine lines in pencil, sharp point, and I'm not worried about the value or the strength, because I'm doing, as I did this background, the lightest area over top of this whole surface first, and then I decided where I wanted to put the darks. In pencil, I'm doing the same. I'm going to take the same areas and just put in some light lines. Where I'm interested in preserving white is right around this eye, where the eye doesn't have a lot of the same interest that the human eye had or other animals have. So I'm going to take and try to put some interest in there, but keep that dark, beady-eyed look surrounded by the lights. I will generally build the whole area up first with fine lines, and then I'll do successively darker coats of lines. And don't do your lines where you do row after row after row. Think of sometimes staggering your lines, making some start in different places, and even moving your pencil so you don't complete a row. Go somewhere else, and then move here, and then go over here. And by the time you finish, you'll have covered everything, but there's going to be more randomness to it, not like rows of grass, and even angle them different. So it's okay if you knit them into each other. And I'm trying to get these hard lines established first. If you look every so often, you'll see that 9H is not visible. I'm not doing it on purpose at this point of moving it, but I will rotate this so my point always stays sharp, or I'm getting the consistent line strength out of it. But I want to again point out I'm looking for the length of the fur, I'm looking for gaps in it, I'm looking for the direction of it. I'm going to break these down into cylinders, and maybe a circle. At the center of that, I might just draw a straight line for the claw, or I can develop that a little further. And on this paw, I will do the same. I'll use cylinders. On this reference, I've traced the one paw and the other, and I might do this one first and just start working in that unit what I see happening down here. Originally I contained it with a circle, and now I'm fitting everything into that circle. We've got room to move if we didn't get it perfectly. It's easier for me to take this sheet of tracing paper, flip it upside down, and draw on the back of this. Put what I need down. I'm putting more information than I have to, but I can now position this back where I want it. Remember, that eye is where I'm registering things. And by pressing down on just the information I need, whether it's the outline or the edges or the inside structure or the claws, I can put as much information as I need on there now. And if I don't intend to work on this particular hand right now, I've at least got a framework that I know I can work around it with. I don't want them too hard, but they're there and I can block them in and erase what I don't want. Now when I'm working with the fur, I can work around that area and not feel like I'm damaging something. I'll do the same one with the other paw, where I'll take it, contained in this area, shows me something to go by, and I'll draw the other shapes. So now I've figured out the areas I've got to avoid putting the fur in, and basically drawn the paw. There's an area along here that's reflected light, and I'd like to get some of this in the harder pencil because it does make it easier to track that line. If later I want to put some dark around it, the fact that this 9H has gotten a foothold will help it stay a little lighter than the areas I might put a dark in, so I'm doing that right now. As tempting as it may be to go in and put dark where you know things are going to be dark, give it a little bit of time. We might not want to be that hasty because you can always add dark. It's just harder to take it away. And even now that I'm doing lines, I want to start doing them in the direction of the fur instead of going like this where it might be harder to disguise. There's a dark color to the edge of these hairs here, fur, and I want to make sure that I'm going to get the value I want as I get closer to the final drawing, meaning this background has to be the right value so that these lines will show up against it. So I'm going to continue with light lines. If I see a line like this that I don't need anymore, I can take the minute and erase it. It's not going to hurt it. I'm really conscious about the dark area, so I want to get some of these lines established there, because these are what will show. These lines that I'm putting in will show as highlights or lighter areas in the shadows, so I'm trying to get some of this established first. Too much light here with too much dark fur will lift the fur forward, and what I want is this part of the animal to emerge. So I'm going to tone down the amount of contrast I have in the background, so that the fur color I use here is the same value as I use in the background. So the two are hardly noticeable. As I work back here though, my fur line should be really short because it is fur that's off in the distance. It's not as long or as visible as this up close stuff. I will start using my lead holders soon, especially